Hello, everybody. How are you? How are things in your world? We're out here. I better move over. It's a busy street. 6:09 a.m., October 21st, Sunday. It's warm. I mean, it's not warm, but for almost the end of October. Let's find out. 63 degrees. High today, 82. Yesterday was 89. All right, let's take a look around the world. San Francisco, 53 degrees right now, high of 62 today. New York City, 47 degrees right now, high of 52. What? Why do I have to keep redoing this app every time? You know? Come on, man. Come on, man. Columbus, Ohio. Whoa, 38 degrees right now. Oh, man. Dang. What was New York? New York is 47 right now. Columbus, Ohio, 38 degrees right now, high of 49. Yahoo, you can't say it. Yahoo weather app does a good job of integrating Flickr photos. And Flickr, if you don't know, is a photo sharing site. They have some photos that you can use if you credit the creator. It's when the creator uploads the photos, they pick, they don't have to, but they can pick a rights assignment that lets other people use them. You basically say, hey, you can use this, just credit me and link back to me, I guess, or something like that. I don't know. So, for example, this picture of a building in Columbus, Ohio is by Tim.Purdue. Copyright by Tim.Purdue on Flickr. So the user saying, I retain the copyright, but you can use it. Just credit me. They've integrated it pretty nicely into their weather map. They have different pictures of the cities that you can add to the app. Like I just added Columbus. Oh. What the hell happened? We got a failure. Whoa. We got a failure. Sorry about that, folks. Tech error. The gimbal has 3 different motors. it just failed. Whatever. Sometimes you have a failure. But we kept going. Wasn't that explanation of the failure much quicker than my explanation of these photos on the Yahoo Map app, the Yahoo Weather app? See, I'm learning. Every day is a chance to grow. Every day is a chance to grow. It's not failure when you're learning. All right, here you go. This will cheer you up, hopefully. This is Inc. Magazine. Cornell and Harvard researchers show that people like you more than you think. Honey, don't be down. Harvard and Cornell researchers like you more than you think. Kids like in 3rd grade. You know, he's having a hard time with the school. Kids like 9 years old. Mom, my best friend doesn't like me anymore. Don't worry, honey. Harvard and Cornell researchers say people like you more than you think. Kids looking at her like, what? All right, Inc.com, our self-image is shaped by an internal narrative that often has less to do with reality than we think. That's why oh man. Can I have a couple more coffees? Let's try it again from the very top. That might help me. Maybe that's where I just need to get over the speed bump. He didn't get enough speed before he tried to jump the gap there. All right, let's try it again. Our self-image is shaped by an internal narrative that often has less to do with reality than we think. Here's why that's a good thing. Yay! I got it. All right. Again, this is Inc.com. A study. Let's see, if you're shy or even a little introverted, I've got good news and bad news, and I'm going to let you choose which is which. I've got good news and bad news, and you get to choose which is which. A study conducted by researchers at Cornell, Harvard, and the University of Essex. I almost said excess. The University of Essex. I really don't feel bad. I don't feel out of sorts. But my reading ability is somewhat compromised this morning. And no, I wasn't out late. Those days are long gone. I've had maybe 10 beers in the last 10 years, total. I know, on average 1 per year. Can you imagine if somebody, what if that was your actual allotment? Like you're like, all right, today's the day. It's my birthday. I get to drink my 1 beer. No, it was a matter of being fat. It's really what it came down to. And just being too busy. I've just got way too much going on. I got way too much going on. Way too much going on. All right, here we go. A study conducted by researchers at Cornell, Harvard, and the University of Essex and published in the Association for Psychological Science looked at our perception of how liked we think we are in the course of having conversations. The findings uncovered that the shyer you are, the larger the gap between how much you think you are liked and how much you are actually liked. So if you are very shy and prone to avoiding social interactions, you will rank yourself as much less likable than others do. Wow, so this is good information. According to the authors, our research suggests that accurately estimating how much a new conversation partner likes us, even though this is a fundamental part of social life and something we have ample practice with, is a much more difficult task than we thought. They talk about the study. Yeah, it's kind of dark through here. City of Los Angeles, please throw up some lights. What the hell? The bottom line is that those of us who are more introverted are also more critical of ourselves. While this may seem obvious, it's an all too common pathology and an incredibly, gotta be careful, self-limiting viewpoint. That could easily turn into a vicious cycle of negative reinforcement. The belief that you're not likable inhibits your attempt to put yourself out there, which in turn reinforces your belief. That seems to make sense from a scientific standpoint and from a common sense standpoint. All right. Somebody explained to me the other day, and I understood, but I can't re-explain it. But they said introverted people are not necessarily shy. Yeah. Being introverted does not mean being shy. That introverted people are just more comfortable. See, this is where I lose track, because I forget what they were telling me. But introverted people just don't. It's not that they're shy. They're not afraid of social interaction, or they're not self-conscious about social interaction. They just prefer to be in their head, even when talking with other people. They're just more in their head, right? Is this any more close to the real explanation? So I don't know. Gotta be careful. Gotta be a little careful. See, this truck driver, he likes donuts. So he parked next to the donut shop right there. So you just wake up, roll out of bed, and get some donuts. I like it. I like the thinking. We're going up a slight incline here, which is adding to our much needed health, increased health. All right, so all that makes sense. So the author, let's give the author's name so I get some credit here. Thomas Koulopoulos. He says, I've seen this time and again in my own work coaching people on public speaking. I recall one person who I was coaching on presenting to a camera. I recall one case where someone I was coaching on presenting to a camera was asked to role play. The setting was non-threatening, a room with several other people and nobody behind the camera. He stopped cold in the middle and said, I just cannot do this anymore, I'm messing up. I'm like, I know how you feel, buddy. I've been doing it all morning. Uh, he says, I can tell I'm messing up. I just want to stop. So he had a little bit of a panic attack there. Quick sidebar. I just brushed the top of that tree with my head. So yesterday I was riding one of those electric scooters along a pretty busy road. I came up where there's a tree with the branches overhanging the bike lane where I was. And I couldn't escape. I couldn't get by without the branches hitting me in the head, without brushing the branches. So I ducked down as best I could, but I also had to maintain some kind of, I'm going 15 miles an hour on a scooter, I didn't want to wipe out. And I had a helmet on. I wasn't worried about, really worried about, too much. But so I brushed these branches. Then I get to the bank where I was going, and I feel something on my neck, and I brush it off, and it landed on the front of my shirt. It was some tree bug. I had shaken, I had hit the branches with enough force that a couple bugs, or I don't know, one bug at least, fell onto my body. Or I'm just covered in bugs, I don't know. But so I'm like, what? Why is this a bug on me? And it looked like a tree bug. It didn't look like any other kind of bug. It just looked like a bug you might see in a tree. It's small, about the size, half the size of just a very small one. But then I thought, nobody in the line felt comfortable to say, hey man, there's a bug on you. So if you see me in the line at the bank, and if you see me in a line at the bank and there's a bug on me, feel free to say, hey dude, there's a bug on you. Oh man, see, I'm getting up early. The bakery. The problem with live streaming at this hour is all you get behind you is bright lights. I guess you could hold it like this to be more. Profile shot. All right. So anyway, this guy had a panic attack, but then they asked the other students, what did you think? He said he kept messing up. What was he messing up? They're like, no, he wasn't messing up. So in other words, his perception of his public speaking performance was not as bad as he thought, and other people thought he was doing fine. And that is for sure. I mean, I can guarantee you that is true in almost all interactions. And if you are really messing up, just call it out. Or you can do a couple things. You just keep going. Don't acknowledge it. And I'd say if it's a small speed bump, I wouldn't even worry about it. I would just keep going. If it's a recurring thing, you got to acknowledge it because they're thinking about it. The audience is thinking about it. If your character allows it, just make a joke of it, which is what I do. Some people aren't comfortable doing that, and it doesn't fit they're in a professional setting. They don't want to be perceived as a joker. That's fine. Although I'd say in general, most people that give talks in professional settings could stand to loosen it up by 20% at least. Golly, everybody's so serious. You know, I mean, loosen it up, man. You know what I'm saying? Loosen it up. You're giving a serious talk, but it doesn't mean you have to be dead serious the whole time. See how that guy, see how that guy, it's so funny, man. The machismo is pretty funny, man. See how that guy squared up back there? Oh man, here we go. I don't know what it is, man. People see a camera, they act crazy. And it's just a regular camera. They see it every day. I don't understand. Yeah, that dude squared up like he was standing right in my direct route. Like he moved over to get right in front of me. I'm like, oh, dude, seriously? Why? What's the point? You know, what's the point of all this? So I would say in a public speaking situation, this is exactly accurate. And my further advice would be, if you're a professional giving a speech to your peers, to a professional environment, you know, loosen it up. Unless it's a very serious topic, right? I don't know what that would be. But so many of these technical speeches are so boring. It doesn't have to be. And by loosening it up, I mean, you know, make your tone lighter. Throw in a couple chuckles here and there. I guess you'd have to watch. Some good advice would be to watch somebody that's a technical presenter that is also relatively entertaining. And I can't think of any. I don't know the public speaking experts or space or. But golly, it's just too hard for an audience to focus that long. And golly, how many college professors could learn that lesson? I read one expert the other day. He said that people can't focus for more than 20 minutes. So therefore, you can't go an hour without any breaks, without any humor, without any levity, without anything. It's just too hard for people to focus. So therefore, you know, I mean, if your talk is like, thank you for coming to today's meeting of the Technical Widget Society. My talk today is going to explain the difference in the digital widget that I've developed versus the manual widget which we've been using in the industry for the last 40 years. To give you a little bit of my background, my father developed the manual widget 40 years ago and has been in use ever since in both consumer and industrial applications. I one day found a handwritten notebook that he kept during the days he was developing the manual widget. I began to think it would be beneficial for us all if I expanded on his theories and brought them into the modern age. After 3 years of research and development, I've come up with the first digital widget. First of all, just talk like a person. Here's a big, huge piece of advice. If you can incorporate this in any fashion, you can put you leagues ahead of anybody in your industry. And at a certain level, public speaking ability will separate you very, very quickly. Not in the lower level so much, you know, because they don't really do a lot of public speaking, like in middle management and that kind of stuff. they do to a certain extent. But if you want to be well, let's just make it simple. If you want to be a leader in your industry, you have to be a good public speaker. There's just no way around it. Maybe there's some industries where that doesn't apply, but I can't think of any. And what I mean is, at the top, the CEOs, the leading influencers, because you may not even be, even if you don't speak to public, you'll be speaking on video a lot, and you'll be interviewed a lot. So it benefits you to improve your public speaking. I'd start now. If you're in your 30s, your 40s, and you're looking to be, or 20s, or in college, or whatever, high school, if you, your goal is to be a leader in industry and in education, develop your public speaking skills, without doubt. And if I had to do an add-on, develop your writing skills. Writing and speaking. So in the case of the widget presenter, just talk like a normal person. And what I was going to say, if you can, think in terms of not speaking at them, speaking with them. So thank you, Dave, for that introduction. Dave and I worked together at the University of Essex, where we worked on a modified manual widget. Dave kept saying to me, Bob, you know, if we're successful in developing a substantially better widget, you and I will have to share the credit on the industry journal. Are you prepared to do that? And I said, listen, Dave, if I can share the messy dorm room that you would never clean up at college, I can share a credit on an industry journal, okay? So, okay. All right, it's a dumb story, but use human language, talk in terms of real things that happened, you know, be personable to the people that are in the room. You would probably get a chuckle from that story from the audience, especially in an industry that is probably relatively small, and that is the widget, industry. They probably all know each other. They'll probably get a laugh. You'll probably get a laugh. So, all right. So now you're already starting off on the right foot. Okay. So, as we all know, the widget, as we know it, is 40 years old and runs the engines. Is a key component of engines in multiple industries, but multiple industries are also at a breaking point. They cannot expand unless we create a better widget. The widget is the heart and soul of the machines that driving trucking, manufacturing, energy, retail, and transportation. So, in order to meet those challenges, I contacted my original co-author, Jim over here, whatever I said, and I said, dude, let's get together and come up with a digital widget. And he said, if you buy the in and out, I'll help. And it was like old times. We sat down after our animal-style double cheeseburgers. Well, I got, honestly, I got the chicken, but I'm just trying to be healthier than my buddy over here. So in other words, set it up. Just get right to the. They say start the speech in the middle. Too many people go into too much early preamble. I mean, you could do some remarks to the room and, thank you, blah, blah, blah. But then get right to the heart of it. This is why I created the digital widget. Because the old one sucks anymore. And it will not take us to the next level in society. That's why we're having this meeting. don't get into a huge history lesson. Just say everybody knows, blah blah blah, and use simple language, even if it's a technical speech. Use simple language, and I know in academic circles and certain circles, you have to use terminology that may not necessarily be everyday simple language. But in fact, I think in some circles you're looked down upon if you do. That's a huge mistake. Because I think you can present technical papers and industry papers and information using simple everyday language. And then, of course, use simple everyday tone. I mean, don't put on your professional. Don't do that. Don't do that. I've done that in the past, and to a certain extent, it's just almost like a automatic reaction to, I'm giving a speech. But just keep it as light as you can, really, because what you're doing is you're improving the comprehension, and that's what you want. And to a certain extent, the reason a lot of people give speeches, and maybe this is true for you, is to raise their profile in the industry. So you do want to be taken as a professional, but you also want to be personable. You want to be approachable. Don't try to be, unless, we're getting too far into the weeds, but I mean, unless you're really the mad professor or something like that. If you're a real Steve Jobs, was kind of a character, right? And so he didn't, he wasn't telling jokes necessarily, although he could be pretty funny sometimes. But I'd say just for most people, unless you have a maverick, like let's say you're the maverick of the industry, well then you probably want to talk a certain way. But most regular normal people just try to come off as personable. That's what you want to do. Professional, of course, professional, but personable. Too many people try to come off as professional but professional. Learned and knowledgeable. And I did this, and I did that, and then I did this other thing, and then people were, it's kind of like, yes, we know you're great. Just give us the information in a personable way, and keep it light, so we don't feel like our butts are burning into these seats at the Holiday Inn. You don't have to be Tony Robbins, but don't be your boring freshman year professor teaching before 500 students in some 101 class. That's death. That's worse than death. Death would be a luxury compared to that. 50 to 90% of your audience would be welcoming death. And sit through that. And remember that freshman year, you can't hear the person. Even if you're in the middle, you can't hear them. They're not speaking clearly. They are boring. They are pedantic. It's pain. It's pain that it's worse than having to sit through congressional hearings. It's just it's like a drill bit in the side of your arm. This guy's got an electric skateboard right there. There he goes. It's going pretty fast. That's the boosted board. I can recognize it. And I think it goes up to 20 miles an hour, which is pretty quick. Pretty quick. The scooter I was on yesterday goes 15 miles an hour, and that's the Bird scooter. They say, and when I say they, the kids on YouTube that I've seen interviews with about scooters, they say the Lime scooters go faster. That's the other one in LA, Lime scooters. And I guess there's more brands coming, and et cetera, et cetera. Wow, didn't we just talk 36 minutes after one story? Woo! So I guess the gist of that ink story was you're doing better than you think. Don't panic, just settle in, feel the fear, and do it anyway. And to a certain extent, you want to be a little anxious. I know this sounds odd, but you want to be a little anxious before a speech. So if you feel that ball in the pit of your stomach, just kind of laugh about it. It's also why it helps have a sense of humor, because it will help you. It'll release oxytocin, and that will help you. That'll help relieve some of the pressure you feel before a speech. So, in other words, it's good. Your body will respond by releasing brain chemicals that will begin to keep you calm. If you go into a real panic attack, this sounds archaic and perhaps a little bit quaint, but just go walk around. Just go walk around, or even I've seen some. That's why you see some speakers right before they go on. They do jumping jacks. They do. They'll do those. What do you call those? Suicides. That's the real hardcore speaker. They'll do running. They'll do running. They'll run. They'll walk. Just trying to get some physical. Get that energy expanded a little bit. I wouldn't say do it right before you go on. That might. You come on. You go on the stage. You're like. Thank you. Thank you. Shall we call a medic? No, I'm just really happy to be here today to talk about. To really talk about. Look at this cool design. I think we've looked at this before, but look at this cool design on this door. Look at the size of this door. I don't know if you can see it. I guess it's not a door, right? It's a gate. I guess it's classified as a gate. All right, that's enough of that. I'm bored already. Country Living magazine, the America's Got Talent results are in and people are furious. Headline. I'm just going through some headlines, see if there's anything interesting here. Ooh, interesting. The New York Times. The New York Times. Once secret, Harvard's admission process is unveiled in federal court. I think that case was started by some people. I don't know. Let's don't get into it. Let's see. Let's move on. A passenger says he told a flight attendant her job was customer service, and it cost him $10,000. Here's a good rule of thumb when you're on a flight. Don't say anything. to the person taking your ticket, let's make it easy. From the minute the Uber drops you off at the airport, don't say anything to anybody. Don't make jokes with the ticket agent or the flight staff or the pilot. Don't talk back to the. Don't tell the flight attendant her job is customer service. You know, uh, they're just gonna fine you. They're gonna get mad. They're gonna have you. They're gonna keep. They're gonna kick you off the flight for one thing. If you make them mad. If you act up. If you act the fool. All right. What else? Diners confront Mitch McConnell at a restaurant and get told to, quote, leave him alone by others. Leave him alone. Let's see. Did anybody win that? When's the next drawing on the 1.5 billion or whatever, Powerball or whatever it is? The lottery. Let's see. What else? All right. Science Alert. This is from Science Alert. This is what happens to your body when you hold in a fart. All right, we got to know this information. Got to know. It's for our health. It's for our health. Trying to hold it in leads to a buildup of pressure and major discomfort. You can get abdominal distension, and some of the gas could be reabsorbed into your circulation and exhaled in your breath. So let me say that again. If you try to hold in a fart, a buildup of intestinal gas can trigger abdominal distension, with some gas reabsorbed into the circulation and exhaled in your breath. Holding on too long means the buildup of intestinal gas will eventually escape via an uncontrollable fart. What is flatus? Flatus, farts, and breaking wind refer to intestinal gases that enter the rectum due to the body's usual gastrointestinal processes of digestion and metabolism, and then leave via the anus. As your body digests food in the small intestine, components that can't be broken down move further along the gastrointestinal tract and eventually into the large intestine called the colon. Intestinal bacteria break down some of the contents by fermentation. This process produces gases. That's funny. Gases that are either reabsorbed through the gut wall. Gases can either be reabsorbed through the gut wall into the circulation and eventually exhaled through the lungs, or excreted via the rectum as a fart. See? And you just thought you had a medical problem. Well, you might have a medical problem. You might have to see a doctor. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so here you go. How much is normal? It can be challenging for researchers to get people to sign up for experiments that measure farts. Well, what's the pay? I mean, first of all, how is the pay configured? Is it an hourly job? Is it a job that pays by the total project, or do we get paid by the individual farts? I mean, if you can break down the pay, I will give you an answer if I can participate, because, I mean, be quite honest, I can rip a fart for you. Oh, man. Let's see. All right. Again, this is ScienceAlert.com. Once they found 10 healthy adults that were willing to fart, basically, for a 24-hour period, the way they did it was all the farts they expelled were collected. Now, before you sign up for the next fart project, keep this in mind. The farts were collected via a rectal catheter. Oh my. You say what? I mean, that's how you collect the farts? Oh my Lord. My Lord. Can I ask for some more money? Can we renegotiate it right now? I mean, right now. I would like to renegotiate my fee, and I mean right now. Right now. The participants produced a median total of 705 milliliters of gas. Whoa. Hydrogen gas was the most prominent gas, then by volume, then carbon dioxide. 3 adults produced a little bit of methane. I put a little methane in there for you. That's a little tip. Followed by methane and finally a little bit of nitrogen. Yeah. Men and women produced about the same amount of gas, and then over the 24 hours there was an average of 8 what they call flatus episodes. Or flatus? How do you say it? Flatus or flatus? And the bigger amounts of gas were released in the 60 minutes after they ate. So, all right. It goes on and on. Okay, here you go. They said the smelliest farts are due to sulfur-containing gases. This was confirmed by a study that fed pinto beans and lactulose to 16 adults. Now wait. It's just too funny, man. It's just too funny. You mean to tell me they had a whole separate study? Do you mean to tell me they had a whole separate study that determined that the smelliest farts are from beans? Oh my Lord. I mean, all you needed to do was come down to one of my cousin Ted's chili bean cook-offs and just hang out for a couple hours, and I would have saved you $100,000 in scientific study fees. Let me try that again. Let me try that again. Let me do that. Let me do that again. Let me get out of the light. Let me get out of the light. This is too good. Let's see if I can bring it around here. All right. Are you trying to tell me? Are you trying to tell me they had a whole separate study, a scientific research study, and they found that the smelliest farts are from beans? That was the study. Hell, I mean, why don't you just come down to my cousin's house during one of his famous football chili cook-offs? I mean, all you had to do is sit around with the family for a couple hours after those chilies. You would have found the same results without a $250,000 scientific study. My Lord. I don't know if that was much better. I don't know if that was much better, but should I do it a third time just to annoy you? Are you trying to tell me that they had a scientific study that found that the smelliest farts are from beans? That was a scientific study. Hell, all you needed to come down to was my cousin's house during his Ohio State football chili cook-off tailgating. I mean, all you had to do was sit around for a couple hours after them chilies, and you would have learned that the smelliest farts are from beans, and you would have saved yourself $500,000 in research grants. Oh, man. So dumb. It's so dumb. All right, how long have we been out here? Golly, I've been out here for a while. Can I eat over here? Is there anything open? Is there any diners or fast food type joints? I'm surprised there isn't a fast food joint inside the LA line. Yeah, why not then? I'm surprised. Times Square, don't they have some fast food joints? This is supposed to be like the Times Square of LA. That was the original thinking. Long day yesterday, 23,000 steps. But I gotta up my step game. We're gonna see continued results. Look at this. I guess we've looked at this a bunch of times, but it's such a fascinating. It's like a guy taking a shot. But at every stage of the shot, what might be a stop motion, those are different players. Different Kings players at each stop of the stop motion. It's very creative. the live streaming like this is it's just not very. The video is not very good. The audio is not very good, but it's good enough, right? And if you're going to be doing hour-long videos on your phone or longer, I've been out here an hour and a half, 2 hours. First of all, you're going to run out of power on your phone. Keep that in mind. But also, you may not have enough room on your phone to record all that video. And a third problem is the video, more than likely coming off your phone, is what's called, it's recorded with variable bit rate, VB or variable bit rate. Politicon is a political convention, as you can tell. Politicon. They got Lincoln here, looking like a member of a rock band. So the like on your iPhone, I think the iPhones still record in variable bit rate. So you're saying, what's bit rate? I'll bore you with it with just a second. It's the amount of bits it takes to record 1 second of audio. Well, yeah, let's use audio. Let's say audio. Wait a second. So let me be more accurate. It's the amount of bits that it takes to record 1 second of audio or video or both. So if your video is recorded with variable bit rate, during the recording, your phone is varying the amount of bits that it needs to record each second as it goes by. So, for example, if you were just taking a picture of a white background like this and there was no audio, well, that's easy for the system to record. There's not much information in there. And so it drops the bit rate to accommodate less information. When there's lots of information, like lots of sound, lots of action, it increases the bit rate to accommodate the additional information. Variable bit rate. But the problem is, when you go to edit it in your editor, such as Adobe Premiere Pro, there's a very good chance the audio and video will be misaligned, much like an old-fashioned Japanese movie where the audio doesn't match what the actor's saying on screen. It's a few seconds off. So then you have to convert the audio in a program called Handbrake or similar products, which convert it to what's called constant bit rate. Constant bit rate, or CBR, and I'm not sure this is exactly correct, all this information, but it's how I understand it. Constant bit rate uses the exact same amount of information for each second, and therefore the editing software recognizes it right away. I don't know if Final Cut Pro suffers from this condition with variable bit rate, but I definitely know Adobe Premiere Pro does, unless I have it set up wrong. And so now you've recorded your, let's say, hour-long video on your phone. It's 6 gigs or something, something huge. And now you got to offload it to your computer. Well, I guess you could just upload it right from the phone. That's true. I never thought about that. But I guess you could record it and then upload the whole. That's the thing. I never thought of uploading an hour-long video straight from my phone. I guess you could do it. It just seems like it would take forever. But yeah, you could do that. But a video that long, an hour-long video, I would tend to offload to my computer and then edit it down or edit it in some fashion, and then upload the, what I edited after I got done with it in Adobe Premiere Pro. So none of this applies if you would just record an hour-long video and then upload it straight from your phone. That just seems like it would take a long time to do, but you could do it. I guess the thinking was, what is the thinking on there? Why didn't I do that? I don't know. I guess you get done recording. I would get done recording and I would just get home. And I would, part of it is you use the phone for other things. That's one reason I have two phones. Because I'm constantly using them, like every minute of the day. So it got to where I needed two phones to get everything done. But anyway, if you're having trouble in your editing software with the sound and the video not matching up, it could be that the video was recorded in variable bit rate and that your editing software needs it to be in constant bit rate. So that's something to check. What's the Lakers schedule? Let's see. Let's see what we got going. LA Lakers. All right, Los Angeles Lakers against the Spurs tomorrow. I think that's here in town. And then against the Suns on Wednesday. I think that's in Phoenix. And then the Nuggets back here in town. I think that's the deal. 2 days ago, Trailblazers beat the Lakers 128-118. I think my shoe is becoming undone. There's a headline from ESPN.com. LeBron James ends Los Angeles Lakers' home debut as peacemaker. Some of these, like LeBron James, maybe he didn't always agree with everything he's done, leaving Cleveland, going to Miami, for example. Having that silly TV show about it, all that stuff. But for the most part, it seems like these athletes make really good decisions on their, they just seem to have their entire game down in terms of negotiation. Of course, they have a lot of advisors and professionals and agents and managers, but LeBron James has his inner circle's been the same since he was in 7th grade. And to come out of Akron, it's not like he grew up in an international city and knowing all this financial stuff and goal setting, and they've been very smart on understanding his role, his impact, and the history, the game, and the history of the game, and not every professional athlete makes the smartest decisions about their own, brand and finances. it's interesting when you get somebody that has, uh, uh, y- greatest of all time level talent, but also is, they're not getting into trouble and they're level headed and making smart choices about their future and their brand, all at the age of 25 or whatever it is, you know what I mean? With some blips. I mean, I don't think there's many people that would agree that that TV show he did about him going to Miami was a good idea. It just rubbed people the wrong way. That's a whole different vlog, which we'll cover. I'm sure we'll cover as this season unfolds. Talk to you soon.